Hey everybody, it's Jenny from Wright and NSW PEP. Welcome to our new video series on data centers, NSW PEP Talks. We've covered all the basics and terminology in the last couple of weeks, so let's kind of start getting into the thermal management and power management basics. So we're going to start with thermal management this week. Let's get started. Before we get started, I'm going to talk about data center specific HVAC here. If you need basics on HVAC, you can check out our NSW HVAC Academy videos. I'll put links below so you can learn all about the basic components in an HVAC system. In the last video, I discussed the capacity of data centers is measured in watts, usually kilowatts or megawatts. Well, all of those watts produced by the IT equipment produces heat. And you need to remove that heat from the environment to prevent the IT equipment from overheating. A typical server setup will have a cold aisle and a hot aisle. So let's make a little bit of room here and look at that. It basically looks like this, where this is the AC unit that I'll talk about in a minute, and these are server racks. They're sitting on raised floor tiles above the slab floor. The AC unit supplies cold air to the plenum between the floor and the raised floor tiles. This cold air is supplied to the aisle through perforated floor tiles. The air comes up, goes into the server racks, and then heat is rejected out the back side of the server racks. The heat rises and is pulled into the top of the AC unit. There are other arrangements that the airflow can go, but this is the basic idea. That leaves us with a cold aisle and two hot aisles. Now if I select this whole thing and make it smaller, I can extend the floor and add a couple more servers, and then we'll end up with more alternating cold and hot aisles. And then let's label these two as racks. So we're only talking about air cooling equipment right now. Liquid cooling is really hot right now, and we'll definitely cover that in a separate video later. Now let's make room again, and let's look at some basic equipment. You've probably heard of CRAC units. CRAC stands for Computer Room Air Conditioning. And you may have also heard of CRAW units. This stands for Computer Room Air Handling Units. CRAC and CRAW units are super common, and they are usually in or adjacent to the rooms they're serving. CRAC units have a compressor and use refrigerant to cool the air. CRAW units use chilled water and control valves. The cold water is supplied by a chiller that is located outside of the computer room. There are several videos in our NSW HVAC Academy series that cover the basics and components of the refrigerant cycle and DX and chilled water systems, and I'll link those below. But as a refresher, let me make some room and I'll pull up an image from one of those videos. This top drawing is the basic refrigeration cycle. The compressor compresses the refrigerant into a high temperature vapor. The refrigerant then goes to the condenser where a fan blows air over a heat exchanger or coil, and the heat is rejected to the outside. From here, the cooler refrigerant goes to the expansion device where it becomes a cold, lower pressure liquid, which is sent to the evaporator. And then here, a fan blows over the cold liquid refrigerant, which cools the air that is sent into the computer room to cool the equipment. This is essentially a CRAC unit, and it operates much like your home air conditioning system works. Now let's look at these two bottom images. The CRAW unit is a chilled water system, so it looks like one of these two images. The one on the left is an air-cooled chilled water system, and the one on the right is a water-cooled system. In both systems, a water coil that is in the CRAW unit in or adjacent to the data center equipment floor is served by a chiller that is located somewhere else on the site. So above this line is the CRAW unit, and below is the chiller. The chilled water for this coil is chilled by passing through the refrigerant that is passing through the evaporator of the chiller. For an air-cooled chiller, fans blow air over the condenser to reject the heat. In a water-cooled system, everything's basically the same, except instead of the chiller having a fan blowing air over the condenser to reject heat, the heat is rejected at the cooling tower. So let's bring all this back on screen. There are several other types of cooling systems that we'll cover in future videos, but this is the basic of air cooling for a data center. I've also covered or will cover how each component of the chilled water plant works in our NSW HVAC Academy video series, so don't forget to subscribe to that channel and be notified when those videos are posted. I'll just cover data center specific differences here in later videos. Next we'll do data center power basics and then we can start digging into the details. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.